Now we have Iwona and Sophia, and they're going to be demonstrating some tactics to use if you have to defend yourself.
Hi, everybody. So I'm here to talk about how to save your own life, and that's very exciting because I wanted to share with everybody. It's a very nice thing to save yourself, save your own life or somebody else's life. So first, I'm going to say a few things about what happened to me and how I saved my life. So I'm a Polish girl who decided to travel the world on her own, and I went to America to study and to work and to get the life experience. And I met this boy who was a post-Marine. He was serving in US Marines, and we started dating, and he had post-traumatic stress disorder, and he was having a lot of drinking problems, and he didn't have a place to live. So I decided to help him out, and he was very nice to me in the beginning, and very charming, and always proper manners. And he moved in with me, and he started having flashbacks, and drinking and flashback caused him to attack me one night, just trying to kick me and punch me. And me trying to defend myself and knowing karate moves, I punched him back and kicked him in his bollocks. So that was that was a success. And I decided I need to share my story because it's important that we all know how to protect ourselves, how to self-defend ourselves, and how to help others if we need it. So that is my story, and I have fantastic Sophia here. So I'm going to show you 5 moves to save yourself or other people when they try to punch you or attack you, and to self-defend yourself. The first thing I would say is try to scare somebody. If somebody is being dangerous, first look them into the eye and say, look, I don't want to cause any trouble. I don't want to hurt anything. Just please walk away. I know karate, and that's it. If that doesn't help and somebody has a knife or somebody wants to punch you, we show you a few moves how to help yourself or other person, especially now what's going on with crime, knife crime, and in different home settings with men and in marriages and partnerships. It's possible. It takes only one time, and you can save yourself. Trust me. All right, so I have a lovely Sophia here. Sophia, come here, say hello to everybody. Right. And we show you the moves. So you punch me, yes. So this is one punch, and then you can kick and you run, yes. So try with the other hand, punch, kick, and you run for your life. Now grab me here. So Sophia, grab me here. I kick with the shins, both shins to the person, and I put it down and I run. Okay. Now another move is from behind. So if somebody comes through behind and grabs you like this, so what I have here, I have heels or I have shoes. I just step on their feet, kick them there, and run. Another move, if somebody is trying to hit you from high. So, this kick and run. Another one, you can grab me with both hands right here. You just do it that way, that way. And last one, you grab me with one hand, this one. Yeah. I pull the hand here, take that hand, pull it down to the ground, and with the knee down and run. So these are the 5 moves that can save your life or somebody else's life. Now, as well, what I would say, if you forget anything, if you're nervous, you're scared, things happen and you don't know what to do, scream, shout, kick, bite, do anything you can to run. And while you're running, call the police and let them deal with it. Don't try to hurt anybody intentionally, and that's the way to do it.
One person says, great idea, but not sure about the running away part. Like, why does running away help?
It helps because you don't know what the person is intending to do. You know, we don't know what they have. We don't know, if they have a gun, if they have a knife, what they want to do. Would they want to hold you? And I don't know. So, you know, I always find run, because when you're running, you're giving yourself time to call the police. When you're gonna stand there and you know, being scared, they have another way to attack you and another way to punch you. And you have to remember, I'm relaxed now. You know, so yeah, so you can do those things when you're relaxed. When you're scared and somebody's trying to attack you, there's there could be another punch, another kick, and you know, you're saving your life that way by running and calling for help to anybody. Cafe, running to cafe, calling for help, running to a restaurant, going to get help. You have to be with people when somebody's attacking you, because it gives them less chance to do something else to you.
And then, okay, so there's another question here from Anne. It says, what if I'm too old to run?
That's a good question. If you have a stick, if you have a Zimmer frame, if you have anything that you have with you, that is, you know, your device, you can use that as well, you know, to protect yourself. As well, there's an app for policing. You can call from your phone, or you know, emergency department from your phone, and just scream and shout for help if you cannot run, and kick and punch if you have to save your life.
And then, okay, there's another one. I really like how the steps to use are very basic and effective. That's true. So the ones you've taught us they're quite simple, aren't they? Are they like the first things you learn in karate, or are you a black belt?
I'm not a black belt. However, our teacher said you girls need to learn the self-defense, because karate moves can help you in a class, and you know, you can impress somebody. But saving your life is more important for us, especially when you're traveling alone, or you're going somewhere, or you're doing stuff like that. So our teacher was really great, saying you girls need to know the basic how to protect yourself.
Can we show the moves with me?
Yeah.
And it's a different person.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm going to try and punch. But that actually hurts. That actually hurts what Iwona's doing. Okay.
Yeah.
And then are we
You
going to
can do it with that pen.
Okay. Yeah, that really hurts. And then kicking. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Now you can grab me here. Yes.
Yeah.
So when she grabs me here with that hand, I take her hand. With that hand, I press on her elbow.
Oh my
and I
God.
took her down to the elbow to the elbow. All right. And that's very effective. And if I go very hard, you can break the arm.
Oh my God.
And run.
Yeah.
So it's a very
So you
effective
do that and then run. That
and
is a
don't
really
be
good.
point. Yes, because
Like that.
be point now. Grab me here because people want to grab me here.
Yeah.
So with my feet, you know, with your heels, you grab because you don't have much maneuver, isn't it? So you grab, I punch your feet with one heel, with another heel. I punch you there, kick, and I run.
Wow.
Grab me with here,
Yeah.
Right. So what I do, shins are very painful. I'm not going to kick you, but they're very painful. So you kick somebody to the shins, and they lose their balance. You go that way.
Oh my God. It's really effective.
And another one, try to hit me from home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
And that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the groin is so painful for men. When you do that, the reaction stops. It hurts so badly. And I hit my boyfriend to the groin. He said, "Why did you do that?" I said, "Why did you try to hit me? Don't do it again."
One of the things that really struck me when Iwona told me about this is her boyfriend attacked her in the middle of the night. And he was, you know, he'd been in the army, and he'd been in massive fights. So he was probably traumatized, but who knows, he might have been doing it sort of directly on purpose. But what I think is so brilliant is Iwona's like completely clear aim to save her own life, causing quite a lot of pain to him, and then run away. So can you tell us about that?
So he tried to basically punch me. So I did my move and I kicked him into the balls, and he started yelling with pain. And he said, "Why did you do that for?" I said, "Why did you try to hurt me?" And he said, "I didn't realize I tried to hurt you. I was drunk and I guess I had a flashback from the war." I said, "Don't do that again. This is not good." And what I did, because from that point I was scared of myself. So I said,
yourself.
Yes, for myself.
Yeah.
Sorry. So what I did is I gave him a few weeks, and I said, in a calm, nice way, "Look, I don't think this is working out, and I'm going to move out. And I think we should just stay friends." He was not very happy with that, and he said, "I follow you." But I knew what to do. So I moved that night when he was not there, when I was safe, and he never found me and stuff. So
I know a really good thing Iwona said is when he said, "I'm going to follow you," Iwona said, "You will never find me."
yeah, that's right. Yes.
You're not going to find me. And it's just so inspirational.
Practice is the best thing, and there's a lot of self-defense videos on YouTube, and you can take your friend and practice with anybody really. And it's good. The more you practice, the better you become, and you're more confident. So yes, and anybody can do it. And I think in some ways, I wish we could have that in schools for girls. I think that would be something, we should apply to the British systems for young girls. There's more and more girls that are younger and younger that are being stabbed and killed and murdered. You hear that everywhere in the news. Knowing this can save your life or somebody else's life. Yeah, go for ice. Great. That's a great thing. Ice hurt as hell. That's a great comment here. Anything as well you can use if you are in the woods and you find a stick, or it's near you, or a brick, or just quickly look around you, whatever you can find to hurt somebody. And don't aim for the head, because you can really kill somebody. So try to aim for the groin, try to aim for the feet. They hurt, shins, shoulders, anything like that. Groin the best, and feet and shins, because they really hurt. Yeah, heavy, strong shoes. Or I know not everybody wears heels, but if you do have heels, that night you are attacked. Heels are really effective. If you do somebody's foot with the heel, it hurts. If he grabs your throat, try to bite him, because your throat is very, if he does hold you by your throat, try to move your head a bit and try to bite him if you can. If not, you still have your feet that are free. So even going like this, all right, it still helps because you're doing something. So that is something you can do. If anybody has a weapon, again, a stabbing move is that move, so you can still protect yourself with your hand, even if they do have a weapon.
I've managed to get Marian Rutigliano, who's got a really good story on the phone.
All right. Yeah, this happened, I guess, a few months ago. I was, I had a day off, took my cat to the vet, and I'm coming home through a section of town that in the afternoon is like nobody goes that way. It's just a shortcut. An old section of town. So, I'm tooling along, the cat's in the cat carrier, and I went to make a right-hand turn. And I saw this girl on a bicycle. She looked like she was about 9 or 10 years old. And I'm just watching her and kind of smiling, remembering riding my bike when I was that age. And this man came across like from the left, ran across the street and grabbed her off the bike. And I thought, holy shit, it's like, what do you do? And there was like nobody else around. So there was nobody else around. This is a child. So I stopped my car like in the middle of the road. So in case anybody came along, they'd have to get out and see what was going on. Sat on the horn as long as I could as I got out of the car to attract attention. And I ran over to them, and he saw me, and I was about to grab her, but he dropped her. And I looked over at her, and I was gonna see if she was okay, but then she looked obviously, stunned and terrified. And I happened to see out of the corner of my eye that he had a knife, like a chef's knife, a big knife. And he was gonna poke it into, it looked like he was gonna stab me. In fact, he tried to stab me, but I turned my body so that instead of the blade going into my left mid back, it just scraped along the side of my back like you would if you were, julienning vegetables or something, and it created a scratch that started bleeding. And I kicked him in the nuts, and by then, and I'm screaming and stuff, and she's screaming. I told her to scream, and by then people are coming out. Turns out she only lived like right around the corner. So, people started coming out, and parents were home, and the mother took the kid, back into their house. And then these two guys, including the girl's father, came along and just like hustled this guy away, and said, "Don't worry, we'll take care of him." I don't know what they did, but they took him away someplace. And so that's what happened. You have to remember two things now. One is I was in the military, so I did have some self-defense training, and a big part of that is psychological. Be prepared to fight. You're always going to be smaller than a man, so do maximum damage immediately. And just and learning to stay focused and keep your wits about you, like seeing the knife and turning, things like that. So that's what happened.
Can you tell us a bit more, Marian, about the psychological thing? Because I think that's a real step for us women. We need to value ourselves and do things. But tell us what makes it that you did that.
Well, I remember taking this self-defense training, and I was on a field, and it was it was actually all women, and I think it's planned that way. In any event, the instructor was this Army Ranger guy, and so he showed us how to do some maneuver or whatever, some move. And so I'm standing there up next, and he just I started to do the maneuver to flip him over or whatever it was, and he knocked me over. He pushed me to the ground. So I stood up again, and he knocked me over, pushed me to the ground, kind of twisting around. And he did that a few times. And I said, "Sergeant, I want to try this out." And he said, "You can't defend yourself." And so I looked, and he said, "You can't defend yourself. You're 5'0". Men are stronger, period. And you can't defend yourself." And I said, "Yes, Sergeant. So why are we learning this?" And he said, "You're always going to be smarter than some big brute, and you will have 1 or 2 seconds to kill someone, to kill a man. And keep in mind, we're being trained for combat, so where it's perfectly okay to kill the enemy, as it were." He said, "But you have 1 or 2 seconds to kill someone, or to just do permanent damage so that you can get away and render him harmless. And unless you can prepare yourself to do that psychologically, to immediately 1 or 2 seconds do maximum damage," he said, "then you really have no chance. And he said, that's like the biggest thing that I can teach you." He said, is that mindset. And in civilian life, basically, we just want to render a guy harmless enough so we can get away. Kicking in the nuts is great, but most guys usually are, watching out for that. But that's the mindset. It's just that I have 1 or 2 seconds to do maximum damage, and I can't stop to think about it because, women, you watch TV and there's these women who know this incredible, martial arts who can, go one-on-one with a guy and it's an equal match. It's not, and it almost never is.
And we were just listening to Iwona's story where she had this boyfriend attacked her, and he'd been in the military, and he sort of seemed to wake up, but what Iwona did is defended herself from the attack. And then did you kick him in the balls?
Yeah, I
really quickly and hard.
He tried to hit me to to my head, and because I've done karate, I did block him and kick him in the balls. And I said, don't do that again, because I know what to do. And he really backed off, and he was screaming and yelling with pain, saying, why did you do that for? I said, I protected myself. You drunk, you tried to hit me. And he said, I had a flashback. I'm sorry. But, you know, this is a situation when, you know, it happened all of a sudden, but I was very strong. And the adrenaline kicks so quickly, knowing what to do, that you just automatically do it. But practicing and like you said, being psychologically strong is the key. I'm repeating myself now. My instructor said, Iwona, you look them into the eye and you say, I don't want to cause any harm. Please go away, because I know karate, I can defend myself. And look them in, don't look scared. Whatever you do, don't look scared. Look like you're confident, whatever you can do. And if you forget all of those things that you learn from the class, yell, scream, punch, bite, anything you can do if you are attacked, and always get up, like you said. That's a great point. Getting up from the floor all the time, never giving up, never ever giving up.
So we've got a thing here from Shell, who says, I bit a man who was attacking me, and he had the nerve to criticize me for not playing fair.
You know, there's a certain amount of, this is going to sound awful, depersonalization. This is no longer a human being. This is something out there that's attacking me, and it doesn't matter what happens to it for me to defend myself. The only thing here is me. I mean, the only thing here is me and my safety. And it's really funny. There's something that I had almost forgotten about that happened, I don't know, maybe 40 years ago or so. I was in New York City, and I was walking. It was cold. It was like November or something, and I was walking home from like a party to the subway station. And it was cold, and I didn't have gloves, so I don't smoke, but I had a lit cigarette just so I could move it from hand to hand and kind of keep my hands warm as I was walking. And this guy, because I'm like 20, 21 years old, skinny, I mean, you know, like 90 pounds wringing wet. And this guy comes up, and he starts to, and I thought, oh shit, he's gonna give me such trouble. And he came up to me, and he wasn't too tall, but he started to reach for me, and I put the lit cigarette out in one of his eyes. And
that's another one, yeah.
Brilliant.
yeah, and I can still remember. I can still, if I close my eyes, hear the shriek, the absolute shriek of this guy having. And then I just like dropped the cigarette and ran. So I mean, there's a guy someplace now, blind in one eye, but it's like it's completely irrelevant. His existence, his eyes, his everything is completely irrelevant to my life. I protected myself, and that's all that matters. And you have to get to the point where it's just like my life and my safety. That's it. There is nothing else. And that's the same thing with that girl on the bike. There was absolutely nothing else except that this is a child and some dude is attacking her. There is nothing else in the world but her safety.
And another thing, ladies, there might be a bag. We always have a bag with us. Kicking on the head with the bag. I mean, our bags are quite heavy. You know, that's a first as well, you know, kind of like you can hit them in the head, it gets them off the balance, and then kick them in a bollocks again, or, or punch them or whatever. That is as well a good point. Rucksack or anything you've got with you is better than nothing, yes?
Yeah, I mean, you've taken the training, and my training in the military was, just pretty. It wasn't long-term or formal or anything. And he stressed that a lot of it was attitude, for fighting. But I put a feminist overlayer around it, that it is my safety, the safety of women. That's what counts. It doesn't matter what happens to the guy that was like attacking you. It doesn't matter what happens to him. It's your safety and the safety of you, the safety of that girl. That's the only thing that matters.
And that's such a fundamental sort of position, isn't it, that we need to all have and be ready. And I mean, the two takeouts I'm having from this are, one, we need to have that position that our safety matters, and children and other women. And secondly, that you have to act very, very quickly, because and playing fair doesn't work for us, because if we play fair in terms of it being like a wrestling match or something, we lose every single time. So the only way we can do it is the very quick maximum damage. There's a good thing here from Francis. It says, according to the situation, one can lift the hands while saying something like, please no. And when the guy's close enough, punch him in the larynx. He'll be choking for air. So that's quite an interesting option, isn't it? So I guess there are lots of ways you could do this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's another good one, yes. Anything
Yeah.
here or here as well, yes. Any punching here, there, here. Or even with the
Yeah.
head, you can, somebody grab you from behind, you've got your head. I know they're taller, but still using your head, and what we show in the film, using your head and, getting that movement, and then the elbow, and then the foot, and then getting out is another thing, yes.
Because we're in Britain and we don't really have guns, we're generally culturally we're against guns. But in America, I suppose there's that feeling that the people should have guns to protect themselves against an oppressive state. And what about women? What do you think? What's going on in America with this gun stuff? Do you think it's good for us to have guns or not?
I commute, and there's a guy on my commuter train who's like, he does lots of volunteer work for the NRA, the National Rifle Association, the biggest, gun lobby advocate. And I mentioned to him once, I said, yeah, I think only women should have guns. No men. We can protect the home with guns, and if you guys want to go hunting, we'll issue you a rifle for the day so you can go hunt. And he kind of laughed, and he said, I gotta tell you, that's not a half bad idea. But this country is just like founded on, this ideal of like the, macho man, independent spirit, pioneer, protecting himself and his family from the evil out of the wilderness, all this crap. The Marlboro man, it's just this macho bullshit. And so there's guns all over the place. And people are like, how can you live that way? And we don't think about it. Most of the time we just absolutely don't think about it. Send your kids to school. Now you're forced to think about it. But I'm here in the supermarket, and I'm not thinking about somebody in this. It's early here, so I'm not thinking about somebody in this mostly empty parking lot coming with me with a gun. I'm just not thinking about it, because most of us, for most of our lives, it doesn't happen. It just happens way, way more than it should. So it's just this cultural thing about guns that has all to do with that macho image and that that male socialized value of I can protect, I'm this, that's where it comes from. That's really where it comes from. Because if there were no guns, we see it we see that over there. You don't have guns, but you do have violent men, and they're probably going to get more violent, and they can do damage with knives. The difference is you can only kill one person with a knife, until a bunch of people run up and tackle you from behind. In the US, there's just tons of guns, and it's this right, it's our Second Amendment. I just read something, our Second Amendment in the Constitution, 1789, but bullets weren't invented till 1849, so it really should only cover muskets, but it doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
It covers more, and it's in our culture, it's in our Constitution, and it is just culturally almost impossible to even get to the point where we're just at least having a waiting period, regulating gun. We regulate everything else. We regulate a driver's license. That you have to be 18 to vote or whatever. We can't regulate guns. It's just such a cultural thing against it that. It's one of those things where it's very hard to have a rational discussion about it.
Yeah. And what about you, Iwona? And because you're from Poland originally, do they have guns there?
No, we don't have guns. But the police carries the guns only for the protection. So the police only can have the gun. The public cannot have the guns. The same like in the UK. But we used to have pepper sprays in Poland. I don't know if they can be used here. I didn't look into much like that, but that's another thing, you know, you can use. Where I was as well in Poland in a train, in a night train. I had 3 people who stole my bag, and I had a pepper spray in my pocket. I didn't have to use it because I decided I'm not going to go after 3 men. I rather lose the bag and the money, and I back off. But I have seen them, and that made me feel like if you have just one and more person, if it's like 3 in a train, I would use the spray. But then it was legal there to use it. I don't know in here.
Yeah, I think in
no.
Britain it's not legal. I think it.
Yeah.
I think it's not legal.
Yeah.
I think no, it's illegal for women to fight back, really. And I know that's not quite true, but I think maybe even rape alarms somehow they're too noisy, so they're trying to stop women having them. It's ridiculous in Britain. Now I don't know, so we'll maybe have to research it.
If you're doing, you know, just self-defense, like what we talked today about, what we showed you, you're not harming anybody. You're just defending yourself and you're running away. Okay, so you're saving your life. You're saving somebody else's life, and that's the most important thing. And that's what you can do for yourself, and that's very, very important. I saved my life. Marian saved somebody else's life and her own life. You have to do that for yourself. You know, if you go later on to courts and stuff, they will investigate. They will know what happened. They will help you in any way. It's self-defense, you know. That's all you can do.
One last thing about self-defense is that other women, if they see something, need to be very, very show solidarity, and either I didn't see anything or he was doing this, and needs to be consistent. And you can't have women betraying other women saying, "Oh, I don't know, he wasn't that bad." Don't do that.